Well, let's move on. In Washington, an emergency funding package which would have provided billions of dollars in new security assistance for Ukraine and Israel has been blocked by Republican senators. Republicans wanted tougher restrictions at the US-Mexico border to be included in the bill. President Biden had pleaded with Congress to approve the additional funding. Well, our North America correspondent Shingai Nyoka sent this update from Washington.
Many Republicans have accused President Biden of not focusing enough on domestic issues. They say that there's a record number of unauthorized migrants passing through the border from Mexico. And before they pass this emergency spending bill, they want to see included in this package tighter asylum policies as well as greater border control. The fact that the vote failed in Senate is a huge blow to President Biden, who had pledged generous packages for Ukraine and for Israel. And he has warned that if the US walks away from Ukraine, that Putin will win this war. And he says that Russia will not stop there, that it'll move potentially into other NATO countries. And he believes that the Republicans are stalling on this vote, using the border issue as a red herring.
That was Shingai Nyoka there in Washington. Let's stick with this story and cross live now to our correspondent Jessica Parker, who's in Kyiv. Jessica, good to see you this morning. How much of an impact do you think this decision could, in the US, could have on the war where you are?
A huge impact. Look, the US is Ukraine's top backer in terms of defence aid by quite some margin. And I think actually here in Kyiv, it's going to be pretty difficult for them to contemplate that somehow Congress, Joe Biden, negotiations that are going on, that they won't find a way through, although time is running out in the US ahead of recess before Christmas. So actually, Ukrainian officials, politicians, they are in DC talking to Republican congressmen and women, I think probably to try and persuade them to find a way through, because US military aid in terms of weapons has been vital to the war effort so far, and would be vital to the war effort going forward as well. That all being said, President Zelensky, top officials, they are being pretty diplomatic in their reaction after last night's eventualities, because I think as far as they're concerned, they have to keep trying to persuade the West to back them. And there are fears, though, that the will might be wavering. There's also struggles within the European Union to get a fresh financial aid package through as well. So some crucial weeks for Ukraine ahead.
And you're just talking about the reaction there from officials. President Biden saying that this could mean President Putin could win this war. What is the feeling like where you are? Is there any reaction like that?
Yeah, I mean, a point that President Zelensky, he made it to the G7 world leaders yesterday, and others make around him as well, the presidential offices. They say, look, if the West shows weakness, in their words, this is a gift for President Putin. Don't give him that gift. We were speaking as well to people here in Kyiv yesterday, just walking around the streets, talking to people. And actually, I mean, two women I spoke to got quite upset talking about this issue. One, her son is serving on the front line. She said, the West needs to send us the weapons because our children are dying. And you also find this view very frequently in Ukraine, that they feel they are fighting a wider battle, protecting Europe, as one Ukrainian woman put to me. So it's an emotive issue. But as I said before, I think it's quite hard for them to contemplate any prospect that Western support won't come through, or further Western support won't come through. So they really are counting on it.
OK, Jessica Parker in Kyiv, thank you for that update. And of course, we will be getting more and more reaction throughout the day to that decision in the US.